Hey fellas, your commissioner here, coming at you for week 12 of NFL action. As I'm sure you can pick up with your very astute observational skills, I'm a little under the weather. Caught a little bug um, a few days ago, but hey, sticking it out, fighting it out for you guys, making sure the video's out on time. I thought, oh, maybe I can just do it later. I'm feeling better, but um, that just ain't gonna happen. So, you guys deserve this. You expect it. Got a loaded State of the Union. I'll try my best to deliver to the fullest of my abilities. And let's go ahead and get into a recap of last week's matchups. Start off with our was it the ice cream sandwich M&M's game of the week? Um, that was who played? Oh yeah, Rip and Nick. Well, you know, to say this game didn't live up to the hype would be a little bit of an understatement. This game was one of probably, if not the biggest disappointment of the season, maybe one of the biggest disappointments of the whole damn league history. Like I said last week, Nick maybe damn near had the worst draft in league history, and he trots his fat ass out there and puts up under 70 points. I don't know this off the top of my head, but I'm just going to say that it's the lowest point total of the season by at least 20 points. Sounds good enough to me. Outside of Jacoby Brissett and Julio Jones, didn't really get dick at anybody. We had the powerhouse Darius Slayton on bye. I'm sure that really hurt him. Um, Saquon was on bye. Lockett was on bye. But I think, even if you do have those three players, you're maybe getting maybe 110. I mean, and Rip now, you started a guy that threw 4 picks. I mean, that's not much better. Outside of Austin Ekeler, which continues to be the dumbest freaking trade that in league history. I mean, Carlos Hyde's been fine, but I mean, Duncan, my guy, Ekeler was a top three back when you traded him, and he's still a top three back. I mean, and yet Duncan's in first place, so it is what it is. But extremely disappointed in both of these teams. A little bit more understandable with Rip. I mean, James Conner gets hurt early, Aaron Jones is on bye, Russell Wilson's on bye. Um, but I mean, Nick's team might be the worst 8-3 team I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he might be the worst third place team I've ever seen. I'm not exaggerating here, guys. I don't understand how he has 8 wins. I would be stunned if he wins a game in the playoffs. I mean, hell, the only way to make it to the semis at this point is if he lucks his way into the bye. But it's just a pathetic performance from Nick. He falls to 8-3. Rip moves up to 8-3. Good for them. Whatever. Very poor week all around as a league. We were kind of up in the mountaintops the last couple weeks, and then now we're back in a valley where we have 1, 2, 3, 4 teams score right at 100 or less. Keep the gravy train rolling. Plunk rolls up 159 to 85 against Hawk. Hawk had pretty much hold of his team on bye. Made a trade to try to get some other pieces to play, and just didn't do jack shit with them. So good news for Hawk. He's now below 500. So according to the Jeff Fisher chart, hey, look at it. Am I 500? Am I below 500? Win a game. All right. So next week, what he's going to do? He's going to win this week. So Plunk asserts his dominance some more. Why is that laggy? We're back. All right. Hopefully that's better. I don't know. I feel like the shit's all in my head at this point. No, see, now this actually seems laggy. Well, if there's lag, you're just gonna have to deal with it because there is, obviously. So anyway, yeah, Hawk or Plunk rather cements his position as a playoff and title contending team. Um, Moves to 6-5, and Hawks grasping for straws to stay in the playoffs. So Duncan continues to roll on, gets another easy win, 145-94. I mean, Wilson just decimated his team through trades. If you ask me, he probably made all the wrong moves, as is tradition of him. Um, I think we're looking at the horse ass team square in the face here. How he has 4 wins is a blessing. I mean, Dalvin got him a couple of those probably, so not good for Wilson. Pretty much safe to say he's out. Like I said last week, Duncan and Nick were already in the playoffs. Rip has also secured a spot in the playoffs with 2 games left to go. No one else has a spot locked up quite yet. I was able to get back in the winning track, drop Craig to a 4-game losing streak. Win 123-101. A little bit of an ugly game. Outside of Drew Brees and Debo, Mark Andrews, really, Hunter Henry. Not a lot. My running backs continue to disappoint. What's new? Hopefully major guys start coming back soon. T.Y. might play this week. Sterling might play this week. So fingers crossed. I picked up Bo Scarborough, so who knows? But yeah, I mean, just shit performance from Craig. I mean, this guy was sitting pretty. What was he? He was what, 6-1? Was he really 6-1 at one point? And now he's 6-5. I mean, and honestly, he could very easily be 4-7 because the 2 games he won before this 4-game losing streak. One he scored 96, and one he won by 1 or 2 points. So I mean, you could be looking at a damn 4-7 team that's on a 6-game losing streak. No, a 7-game losing streak after starting off 4-0. Golly, buddy, you're 6-5, you're in the playoffs, but you're holding on by a thread, and you've just not been putting up the point totals. And hopefully the Chubb trade works out for you. You've got Michael Thomas, who's a beast, but buddy, it's not looking good for you. So, and then we got JD beating up on old last place Ford. Ford, for some reason, continues to trot David Johnson out there like he's going to do jack shit. He doesn't. But really, his other options aren't much better. Peyton Barber, Frank Gore, so kind of got to roll the dice. I mean, not his point total for having an Oprah from somebody, 111 points. Really carried by his defensive player, 21 out of him, and Stephon Diggs. But a really solid game out of JD. I mean, 146. He's got Mahomes back in the mix. Kenyon Drake's a starter now. John Brown had a blow-up game. Kelsey had a blow-up game. But, I think JD's a force to be reckoned with here at 5-6. He gets in the playoffs, he can make some noise. So look out. And then that brings us to our heartbreak game of the week here. I'm choking up just even thinking about it. Savoy goes into Monday night up about, like 1.5 points, something like that. Really, Mecole basically just needs like 1 catch. That's not for negative yards, and he wins the game for Blaine. You hate to see it. For Savoy puts up 148. I feel for you, brother. It's no putting up 175 and losing, but 148 is quite the point total to lose on. Especially with it being the second highest point total in the league this week. So, you know, you would have beaten everybody. I can relate to that. I can sympathize with that, certainly. Um, you know, strong showing, especially with Metcalf and Derrick Henry on bye. Um, Njoku coming back hopefully helps. Getting a goose egg out of Doyle and 2 points out of Boyd really killed him. Because Chark and Josh Allen blew up, Gurley blew up, Hicks blew up. But just couldn't overcome the Swamp Donkeys trudging along. Blaine gets just enough on Monday night, 2 catches out of Mecole, and gets the job done. So, congrats to Blaine, moves to 5-6, and Savoy drops to 3-8. So, doesn't feel too bad for Savoy. He really hadn't been scoring points until, you know, like this week. So, but I still do feel bad for him, kind of. All right, so we've had some trades take place. A very heated trade deadline, very active trade deadline. A lot of contentious trades that occurred. Let me look up just what those were. Obviously, we extended the deadline to just before kickoff for the Thursday night game. In the future, we're probably going to move it up a week. That way people are a little less sure of what their status is. But, let's see, yeah. Oh, we got right here. This sucks, guys. I just, you know, I'm sticking it out for you, but I'm dying. You're watching a dying man on camera. You know, but hey, I do it all for the love of the game. Gotta do it again and again. Was that the right seasoning we got for chicken? Okay. Making chicken tacos tonight. I'm not making them, but I'm helping where it's needed by eating them. Anyway, we got my internet's slower than molasses on a cold day. We did a Mark Ingram for Sony Michel. Obviously, I traded away Mark Ingram for Sony Michel. Kind of looks like a bad trade now because Mark Ingram had 24 points and Sony had like 7, something like that. But you know, I do like Sony's schedule shaping up. I think New England's going to run more down the stretch to get their left tackle back. That should help. And then the contentious one was really the Chris Godwin for Tyreek Hill trade. Well, Tyreek and Royce Freeman. Why Connor wanted Royce Freeman, I'll never know. And you know, it was more of a move to the future, sitting at 3-7, pretty much guaranteed to not make the playoffs with 3 games left. Chris Godwin's still a very good player. Tyreek pops his hammy. You know, I still would have won even if I had Tyreek, but would put me in jeopardy a little bit closer to the game. He'll probably be back, not miss any games because he has the bye, but it's really important for me to win every game. And so with my best receivers on bye this week, whenever I need to win every single game the rest of the season, we talked about it. We're done. Fine, fair trade. So it is what it is. Water under the bridge. And then we had the late breaking blockbuster, which was wasn't there one like right at the deadline? I thought. Didn't yeah, there it is. So we had 2, you know, very late breaking. Hawks sent Tyler Lockett, Saquon Barkley, Alexander Madison to Nick for Le'Veon Bell, Evan Ingram, and DeAndre Hopkins. Nick damages is already thin and depleted tight end core. Gives up probably arguably the second best receiver, third best receiver in the league. And a solid, high-end RB2, low-end RB1. So, but Saquon, obviously he's a beast. He's been prone to have some letdown games this season. Um, Lockett's been a monster as well, and Madison, he doesn't even have Dalvin Cook, right? So, but whatever. Um, I mean, I see the logic in that. So, and then we had, Swamp Donkeys trade with Craig, Nick Chubb, and Christian Kirk for Leonard Fournette and Michael Gallup. Early returns look like Blaine got the better end of that deal, but you never know. Some pickups we had today. Obviously, Jonathan Williams is a big pickup, $21. I picked up Bo Scarborough for 31. Probably too much, but I got the money to burn. I had 60 extra fab this season, so wanted to make sure I got him. Jonathan Williams, it looks like Jordan Wilkins is going to be back and playing, so I feel like that's going to be a little bit of a three-headed monster with those two and Naheem. Bo seems to be the most capable back that the Lions have had all season, including Kerryon Johnson. So, he could be a Tim Hightower-esque league winner. Probably not going to win the league, but he might. And Antonio Brown got picked up for $10. Not a bit of a reach, but Hawks certainly has the most money to blow. So, and Nick gets Penny back. He's in love with that guy, so maybe it'll work out for him. All right, so let's get into a preview of this week's matchups. We'll start out with they're hot. Oh my God, you should have told me. Hold on, let me get water. Thanks. Like that, I got extendo arms. Anyway, we'll start off with this one. Not much to say. Duncan is playing the Fat Bastards. We still has David Johnson, Stephon Diggs in there. Now we put Carson in there. Move Gabriel up, but yeah, I mean his team sucks dick, guys. I mean let's just face facts. He knows it, we know it. Maybe honestly, no, I won't say he's the odds-on favorite. I think Wilson's the odds-on favorite for the horse ass at this point, but I think it's shaping up to be those two in the horse ass yet again. So yeah, Duncan's gonna cruise. I don't know if Duncan's gonna have the best game. Taking a little risks. But he does have DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey. That's certainly enough to win them games. So Craig is playing Savoy. Craig's projected to win 123 to 115. Knowing Savoy's luck, this is really an interesting game here, guys. Because Craig's riding I'm just going to say riding a 7-game losing streak. And Savoy just can't catch any breaks. The matchups for Savoy are pretty decent. Craig's matchups are pretty decent as well. Honestly, this could have been the game of the week, but neither one of these teams deserve it. You're going to say the game of the week doesn't deserve either, but I said this a few weeks ago. When there's not an obvious game of the week, what's going to happen? Anyway, I'm going to go with Savoy to drop Craig on an 8-game losing streak. Nick is playing Blaine. Nick is projected to win 130.6 to 0. Blaine's back in his bag of tricks. Huh? No. Yeah, Nick's team sucks. That's just the long and short of it. I don't think he's gonna win a game the rest of the season. So, Well, not a meaningful game. He's not going to win these 2 last games, and he's not going to win in the playoffs. So let's go Swamp Donkeys. I need Blaine to lose, honestly, to have a shot at the playoffs. I need him to lose, but it ain't happening. Um, Hawk and JD are facing off. Tough week for JD with Mahomes and Kelsey and Kenyon and Mike Williams on bye and Kirk Cousins on bye. Um, so Hawk's short. It's crazy how the stars align, isn't it? He's 5-6 and needs to get back to 500. And then here comes old JD hurting with the bye weeks, and bam, he's gonna get a win. So good job, Hawk. Get back to 6-6 where you belong. Um, Next week's going to be a tough one. I don't know what you're going to do next week. Um, and then we got the Cataclysmic Catches versus Dirty Birds of War. Punk's going to win that one easy. Punk big. Bet the house on Punk. All right. So that brings us to our Puffs Ultra Soft Game of the Week. Puffs Ultra Soft. Facial tissue. That sounded pretty good, didn't it? Comforts Needy Noses. Nice 124 2-ply tissues. It's cold and flu season. Obviously, I've got a little bit of a cold or something. So I've been going through these like crazy, as you can tell. But these stuff are great. They don't leave your nose being irritated unless you do it like 100 times a day, like I do, and then it doesn't matter what you have, it's gonna get irritated. But yeah, Puffs Ultra Soft, the official facial tissue of our fantasy football league. Whew. I tried to hold off all video, but obviously, I couldn't. So when nature calls, you know what I mean. Anyway, that's discount double check, the art of the deal. Not an apparent game of the week this week, so it's going to me and Rip. Battle of the quarterback, of course. Rip is playing, or Russell's playing the Eagles. The Eagles did limit Tom Brady somewhat. Maybe they figured their defense out. I don't know. But Russell's going to eat probably 40 plus. Drew Brees at Carolina is fine. He'll probably get like 20 points. So yeah, go Rip in that one. Battle of the running backs. We got Jalen Samuels and Aaron Jones versus Tevin Coleman, Sony Michel. Jalen Samuels dropped like 20 points on me earlier this season, just a couple weeks ago, and what do you know? He's back facing me. We're playing Cincinnati, so yeah, I mean he's going to catch a million dump-off passes and get 20 points again. Aaron Jones might be limited by San Francisco, hopefully, but Sony and Tevin have proven to be underperformers of late. So I don't know. They both have good matchups, but we'll see. I'm going to go with a push in that one just because Jalen Samuels scares the shit out of me. I'd rather James Conner, to be honest. Battle of the receivers. We got Odell Beckham, Julian Edelman, Mohamed Sanu versus Chris Godwin, Deebo Samuel, Curtis Samuel, possibly T.Y. Hilton. He was estimated to be a full participant today at practice. So getting him back would be huge. But knowing my luck, they'll say he's active, they'll say he's good to go. I'll start him and play him, and then he won't play at all. So jury's out on that. But I can't see Edelman and Sanu doing well. I mean, Dallas does have a good secondary. I think Beckham does have a blow up game, one of the few that he's had all season. But I'm gonna have to give the edge to myself there, just because I'm banking on Ty coming back. Odell sucks. So, and then battle of the tight end, we got Darren Waller versus Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews can't be stopped. He's a monster. So, Mark Andrews, battle of the flex. Right now it's Bo Scarborough versus Jamal Williams. Don't know how that's going to pan out, so I'm just going to push that one. Fortunate for me, Eckler and Melvin are on bye. Looks like AJ Green's not going to play again, and Connor's not going to play. So You know, ultimately, I'm gonna have to go with myself in this one. Just got to put it out there, will to existence. So, sick. Missed a shot. Trash can. You see it? Kobe. So anyway, good luck this week, fellas. Y'all be safe and big.